keep it honest. A regime that doesn't just torture and murder its own people, doesn't just shoot them down in the streets. Tonight, a regime that continues to arrest its children, torturing them and murdering them. The regime of Bashar al-Assad in Syria. They try to hide their crimes by keeping reporters out, but the videos continue to emerge. This is what Syrian soldiers do to helpless, handcuffed prisoners. This is what Syrian soldiers do to a helpless elderly man. This is what the regime does to its people who are protesting. Video from today from the Damascus suburb. Right now, Syrian soldiers and government thugs are on the brink of exacting bloody retribution on an entire city. And their leader, Bashar al-Assad, is, according to the Prime Minister of neighboring Turkey, taking all this, in his words, very lightly. So tonight, for whatever it's worth and for whoever can do something about it, we want to show you the truth of what is happening in Syria. The pictures are hard to look at, I know, but people are risking their lives to take these images. They are dying so that you and I may know the truth. This is exclusive video, new video of a recent protest, a peaceful protest in northern Syria, photographed by a dissident who managed to escape to Turkey. Thousands of unarmed men, and then gunfire, chaos, and carnage. The massacre, neither the first nor the last. They appear to be escalating. In fact, today, not far from where this happened, reports of helicopter gunships firing on protesters. And we can't independently confirm this, but you can clearly hear machine gun fire coming from the helicopter and reaction from someone on the ground. And not far from there, the Syrian military has launched an operation on the border city of Jisr al-Shagur. The regime has been promising punishment on the city after 120 security forces were killed there several days ago, it says, by armed thugs. Refugees refute that, saying some of the troops rebelled after refusing to fire on civilians. In any case, Syrian forces have been marching towards the town, reported burning fields and firing on anything and anyone in their path. We have no video of it yet, because the Syrian government is keeping the media out, but we do have new video tonight of the swelling refugee camps over the Turkish border. That's what you're looking at right now. And these unfortunate Syrians may in fact be the lucky ones. A Western correspondent near the camp says refugees are telling her the Syrian regime tried to stop them from leaving, holding its own people captive, and worse, much worse. This is the body of Tamar al-Sahari, returned to his family after a month in captivity. Like all amateur video, we can't independently verify it, in part because Syria won't allow us in. Tamar's body is missing an eye and several teeth, we're told. His family says his leg and neck was broken. He was kneecapped as well, shot not to kill, but to inflict excruciating pain. Tamar was just 15 years old. He was reportedly arrested on the same rally attended by Hamza al-Khatib. This is Hamza's body. Hamza showed signs of beatings, gunshots, and gunshot wounds, cigarette burns over his body, and his penis was cut off. Hamza was only 13 years old. He and Tamar and others taken, tortured, murdered, and then weeks later returned to their families, not so parents can mourn and bury them, but as a tool of terror, as a warning to others. Toe the line, or we'll take your kids. Days after Hamza was returned, signs that in that respect, terror works. His father and uncle appeared on Syrian state TV, full of praise for the dictator Bashar Assad.
What can I say? Best president ever? Thank God he gave us everything we've ever asked for. The first thing is, the president promised us reforms. And God willing, they will come soon, tomorrow or the day after. I mean, these reforms are for the citizens, and they have been well received. and we were very happy with the president. The president is very close to the people, and he has offered them a lot, and he has said, God willing, he will give even more.
Later on, a family member, who we are not naming, told us that the family was threatened to make those statements. That's what terror does. It no longer works, though, against everyone all the time. This is a funeral march for Tamer. Hundreds taking part, just as thousands of others do all across Syria. Men, women, and children. It's hard to watch, and no wonder who will be the next person to fall. Who will be the next child taken? This week, Amnesty International came out with the chilling testimony of a former member of Syria's elite Republican Guard. He and his unit got the orders on April 23rd to confront a violent gang. What they found, he says, was something else. Not a violent gang, but around 2,000 unarmed protesters, including women and children, chanting, peaceful, peaceful. Those were the words the protesters were speaking. What he then witnessed, he says, was a massacre. He could not stop it. He could not take part. He and 5 others threw down their weapons, he says. He's now on the run, facing a death sentence for desertion. But he is the exception. As we said at the top, the people of Jisr al-Shagour now wait for word on their town's fate at the hands of Syrian forces. The refugees continue to pour across. Almost 30 years ago, the dictator Bashar al-Assad's father, Hafez al-Assad, faced a rebellion from the Muslim Brotherhood. He handled it by leveling the city of Hama, killing anywhere from 10 to 20,000 people. History written in blood, history repeating itself every day in Syria. Tonight, the White House issued a statement. The United States strongly condemns the Syrian government's outrageous use of violence across Syria today, and particularly in the northwestern region. There must be an immediate end to the brutality and violence. Earlier, I spoke by internet phone with human rights activist, dissident, and fugitive in her own country, Rezan Zaytouni. We almost didn't manage it. The regime has been shutting down internet service, trying to keep word from getting out of the country. We lost the connection shortly before the conversation and lost it soon after, but we managed to find a narrow window to talk. Rezan, we now have seen another video of another young boy allegedly tortured and mutilated by security forces. His name was Tamer al-Shari. Do you know what happened to him?
Tamer was arrested at the same day when Hamza was arrested. He was disappeared. The same circumstances like Hamza. Nobody knew where he was until about a few days ago when his body was delivered to his family. He was tortured awfully. He was shot in his eye. His neck was broken. He was burned with cigarette on all his body. He was shot in his 2 hands and 2 legs. Every few days we have a new person, new detainee who was in detention. His body is delivered to his family, was dead under torture. So it's happening all the time.
So they want people to see what they've done to these kids, to adults, to people who they've tortured, to scare people?
It's a message. It's a message of revenge, of hatred, to make people more scared about their sons, about their children, about their beloved people, not to go on in their revolution.
The regime, of course, denies this. It says these kids were if they got shot by armed gangs during protests, which there's no evidence of, and also it's important to remember that all of this began in Daraa with the arrest of children who were graffitiing signs against the regime. So all of this began when the regime started snatching children.
That's right, because the regime doesn't want to take the responsibility for the crimes the security commit. They commit these crimes and then they come on the official media and deny these crimes.
I've also seen now a video of what looks like Syrian soldiers kicking and beating an elderly man who's on his knees, defenseless. I was amazed that that the soldiers would shoot this video and that this would get out, that they would want this to be seen.
You will be surprised that most of these videos, the soldiers and the security members themselves, they sell it for money. They don't feel it's that they are committing a crime. They even don't care about the regime itself. They just give it for money.
Amnesty International says that Syrian soldiers are being told to fire on unarmed protesters. We've certainly seen this in video after video, but they have actually interviewed most recently one Syrian soldier who was able to escape, who refused to fire on civilians. Are there many soldiers who are refusing to fire?
Everywhere, in every cities, dozens of soldiers refused to participate in attacking the cities and shooting the people, and as a result, they were killed. Until now, we have about 300 names of soldiers got killed because of that.
Have you heard any word from your husband who was arrested and has disappeared?
No, I heard nothing about him. I just heard some rumors that he got tortured very badly and he is in very bad situation. I don't know if it's just messages by the authority for me to put more pressure on me, or I really don't know.
How are you able to keep going? How are you able to stay strong and optimistic?
I see the freedom very close. I can't wait to see it really and to feel it really. So we just continue, just go on until we reach there. We almost there.
Rezan Zaytouni, stay strong. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Let us know what you think. We're on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter @AndersonCooper. I'll be tweeting tonight.